24 hours ago to the moment, Shefty reporting the Dolphins cut Tua Tagovailoa. And then before the sun had set on the day, Tua was in Atlanta. The Falcons will give him a one-year deal, giving them another left-handed quarterback to complement Michael Penix Jr., who tore his ACL in Week 11. It's still unclear when he'll be back. Let's dive into this because clearly we had a lot of opinions on it early and I wasn't able to sink our teeth into it. Dan Orlovsky, what is your big picture take on Tua going to Atlanta?
It's the right decision for both parties. One, best place for Tua to try to rebuild himself as a starting quality quarterback or starting caliber quarterback. Really good offensive line, best offensive line Tua would have ever had in his career down in Atlanta up until this point. Obviously, plenty of offensive talent. And then for Atlanta, it's the right decision. Atlanta doesn't have a first-round pick. They don't have money to spend on a quarterback. They've got other options like Kyler Murray not going there. Geno Smith wasn't going there. Kirk Cousins wasn't going there. Couldn't pay Malik Willis. So out of the reality, they need a starting quarterback in March. They got to run their offseason and help their football team improve in March, April, May, and June, let alone training camp and potentially start in September until Michael Penix is at least healthy enough to be in the conversation. It's the right decision.
The left-handed part, I think, makes sense. The rest of it doesn't. I think having another left-handed quarterback to back up your left-handed starter, that's a fine idea. They're both kind of injury-prone, and neither is, like, established, legitimate starter. That's why Tua is available. The team who just had him released him with $60 million of dead cap money. I think convincing ourselves that Tua is going to run this team would be foolish. I also think that we're not sure what Michael Penix is. You have a team that has a lot of really talented. You have a team that has a lot of really talented players on rookie deals right now. You restructure some contracts and you find a way to get Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is the best possible answer that they could have had. They have an attractive destination. You pointed out, Dan, all the reasons why it's attractive. I'm just looking at this roster and looking at both of these two quarterbacks, and I don't believe that either of these two quarterbacks are quite good enough to take this team where I think that they believe that they belong, considering the improved defense, considering the good offensive line, considering the number of first-round weapons they have on offense. These guys aren't the answer.
I don't see how Malik Willis would have worked there. Like, they have the 8th pick in the draft was Michael Penix.
Right.
Kirk Cousins was very expensive and will continue to be in terms of their cap situation. You're able to get a quarterback on a minimum salary deal that has 75-plus career starts in the NFL that throws with the same hand that your starter does. It's a shame they couldn't get Kellen Moore to come coach him. But that doesn't, I mean, like Drake London has talked about this, right? Like the ball spins different. So, like, you have a guy that can operate your offseason now while Penix gets healthy. I believe that, that team still wants to see Michael Penix as its starter once he's healthy, and Tua can get you through the offseason.
There's so many things I want to see, and unfortunately I'm never going to. Michael Penix was such a roll of the dice the night that they drafted him. Right. We all said it at the time. I hate saying it out loud because you don't want to wish these things on people. He's a young man with a dream, and I would love nothing more than for him to prove everybody wrong. But his injury history coming out of college was the ultimate red flag, and they made a pick that no one else saw coming. And so now you get a guy in Tua. Peter, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know that Tua is going to play great there, but I think if he has any chance of resurrecting his career, this is the spot for him to do it. Look at the division he plays in. He's going to play his home games in a dome. His road games are in New Orleans, Tampa, and Carolina, so none of the weather that has always been his problem. He's got really good offensive weapons around him and a coach who quarterbacks I was about to say play well under. I don't know if they always do or they don't, but he wins Coach of the Year every once in a while and is considered an offensive mind. So I think if Tua is going to have any chance of resurrecting himself, Peter, this was his best shot.
And I would add in that Matt Ryan's opinion matters, and Matt Ryan's not putting a name on a quarterback that he's bringing in that he doesn't think has a chance to succeed there. Look, Michael Penix's injury history is one thing. He also didn't play great last year when he was on the field. And Zach Robinson's offense was a bunch of pistol and shotgun and gadgetry. You put Tua in there, he's a traditional drop back quarterback. He can run a little bit, but it gives him another option. At $1 million, Dominique, I understand what you're saying. I'm not putting Tua in the Hall of Fame either, but at $1 million for what they're paying him, to me, it's a waiver, and so it's why not? Let's do it. Let's give Tua another shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a flyer, but we're saying pretty critical of the way that Michael Penix has played so far and how he played last year. Tua wasn't better. Critical of Michael Penix's injury history. Tua had the hip and a series of concussions. It's not better. I feel like you went and had a quarterback last year that is not proven, and you went and got the identical version of it just with a weaker arm. Like, I don't love this as a long-term possibility. I think that I understand for what it costs.
Intended as one.
Right, yeah. I think that's what I'm pushing back against is it feels like some people are making the argument that he's a potential solution there. I don't think that's true. I guess that's all I'm saying is, like, it makes sense to have him there because he's cheap, but I don't see him as resurrecting his career in Atlanta.
It's the Band-Aid, though, Dom. And this was an organization that just needed the Band-Aid right now. No, I don't believe he's the long-term, and I'm skeptical that Michael Penix is.
Right, agreed.
But we can also talk accurately about who Tua has been. Tua 2 years ago was in the MVP conversation. Whether you think that was a byproduct of Mike McDaniel or not, the reality was he was. And there's been moments when he's played really high-level football, and it's going to be a relatively similar system. And so to sit there and say Malik Willis, to sink $45 million into Malik Willis would have been wild by Atlanta. Atlanta's doing this right now. They have this year, Michael Penix, Tua. Prove to us that you're so much better than our expectation. If not, the 2027 draft, that's when they're going to get their quarterback of the future.
Let me try and get Shefty in here. Go ahead, Adam.
Look, we've got a very unusual offseason here. You see Tua released in Miami. You see Kyler getting released tomorrow in Arizona. Geno Smith has already been released by the Raiders. We're going to have Kirk Cousins released by tomorrow from the Falcons. There are 4 quarterbacks right there who will be paid this year a combined $119 million in guaranteed money who are now on the market. So you can go sign Tua for the veteran minimum. You could sign Geno for the veteran minimum. You could sign Kyler for the veteran minimum. So there is no downside in rolling the dice on one of these inexpensive options. So that's exactly what's going on here. Atlanta felt like this was the one that made sense. You could have picked any one of them at this point in time, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter.
I think they believe in Penix more than I do, because I think that we all would agree that all the options that Adam just laid out there are all better options than Tua right now. And I think what they did by getting Tua is, like, he's left-handed, and he's going to manage this team until our other left-handed quarterback gets in there. But I think that's where I feel it's a little bit confusing to me, because I don't think that Michael Penix is, given his injury history and the way that he's performed in the league so far, I don't feel like they should be as committed to him as they are.
Well, look, I mean, if you want to look at a way to define a team that has completely mismanaged its quarterback situation, 2 years ago, I mean, Schrager, what is it now? Like 20 months ago, they spent $100 million on a quarterback and drafted one at number 8, and here we are, and they desperately need one. So that's the definition of having mismanaged the position. So I'm not sure why we would expect. Then they all got fired for it. Exactly right. So now they're just trying to clean up the mess.
Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris are no longer living in Atlanta for that very reason. And that's what happens. When you make big swings like that, you can't keep your job, and they're the ones who paid the price. And now we'll see what happens if Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts and maybe Michael Penix can make everyone say, oh, that was actually a good pick, that they actually took him there. They needed him. Well, right now, the jury is still out.
Yeah, and my side of this really is just, if Tua's going to have any chance, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. But, I mean, I didn't think a lot of things were going to happen. I didn't think Sam Darnold was going to win the Super Bowl either. If Tua is going to revive himself somehow, this feels, of all the options that he could have fallen into,
I think for him,
this is the best one.
For him, from his perspective, it's fantastic. I'm just confused from the other team perspective. It feels like they are gearing up to get another quarterback real soon. It doesn't seem like the reason why I brought up Malik Willis, because Malik Willis has potential. There's some black box to Malik Willis where you're like, hey, he could turn into a great. We know that I feel strongly that Tua is probably not going to be that guy.
But they still think Michael Penix has potential. They want to see it. They want to give him another shot to prove them right about the draft pick.
And the reality of the situation is they are right now at DraftKings, they are the 4th favorites in a 4-team division. They actually have the longest odds
no one
of
had a winning
any team. I think everyone thinks they should have the best team in that division. They just haven't gotten it right for all of this time. We'll see if somehow this flyer they take on